really dark in the pictures. That's because those have HDR built in, so it's 5 bracketed. And here's my point cloud. So here's my 3D point cloud. This is 1% of the data that I just showed.
Those are all points.
So if I zoom in, I can see the individual points.
And when you look on the back side, you'll look hollow because he hasn't got the back side of you yet. It's only the front side.
So notice I don't have this stuff over here, right? That's all in the shadow because the chairs are blocking it. Right, so watch this. Does everybody see that pulse that it's doing? Right, so it's like a sonar pulse you see on subways and movies.
Everybody stay still like you were.
Now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick this up and move it, and when the instrument gets picked up, an IMU kicks on and says, oh no, he's moving me, pay attention, right? And these lenses you see on the quarter do a photogrammetric repose in real time as I move it. So as I move the instrument, it knows where it's going. So watch the red dot.
The other technology that we're just starting to get exposed to and use is AI, and that's, again, that going forward, that's gonna be a huge technology that surveyors will end up using.
So as I move it, it already knows where it's at, so I'm just gonna tell it to hit play again. And then we'll get into some data sets, and I'll show you what it actually does. So it's gonna do its calibration spin again, right? And it's gonna start doing a scan.
So you might ask, okay, so what's the big deal about scanning this room? Okay, so, well, when you get it done, everything in here, how far is it from that sprinkler head to this, the next one? How far, what's the dimension of that light? Where is that window? Where is that vent? How high is it? Those are all things that if you're the architect and engineer, now you can design and work around all of that. Everything in here is measurable, everything.
Now you're just picking point to point to point to find out distances.
It's really incredible stuff. So to the young lady, if you're not the person doing the data acquisition, there are people in the office that process this. They deal and they sort out. You have millions and millions.
Fatality or a really bad accident. A lot of law enforcement agencies have that same unit. And what they'll do is they'll set it up because before they used to measure and mark and you would see them out, police officers with a total station, that they don't even use that anymore. They just go set that thing up and then let it do its business, move it, and they got a whole 360, basically a crime scene of what happened. They could see the tread mark on the tires, on the asphalt.
So now, when I'm playing with my tablet, I can go into scan 2, see the same thing. Right. Notice how dark this part of the room is. 3D, I'm looking at just this scan, but I don't see the front part of the room. But the cool thing is, built into our software, we can put these together, so I can tell it I want to link these two. What's really cool about this, though, is you can see I have 2 point clouds here, and I can tell it I want to put them together, right? I can also adjust for height. So if I went downstairs, I can adjust for the difference in elevation. Now, of course, with the VIS system, which is the photogrammetric system, and the built-in altimeter, it would already know that you went downstairs. So it would already adjust for that for you. But what's really cool is, even if I'm an idiot, because I'm going to tell you, people can screw stuff up, I'm going to say, that's where this goes. I know that's not where this goes, right? It's not lined up properly. I can hit optimize here, and it says, no, that's where I go. I belong right there. I can hit create link. So now when I have a bundle of scans, and I can go to the 3D view now, and I can see both scans simultaneously. Right? So if I kept going through here, I can fill in the holes as we go, right? So, but this is boring. I mean, that scanner, that's so passe. Let's get a different scanner.
And again, you're not viewing all the points, those are just
one percent.
a small portion of the points.
Notice this says, hey, keep walking. So as I walk, I'm gonna try not to get too far away from my tablet so I can still maintain a good connection here. Come on. This one's in the background, it's a little far from my tablet, I think.
So is this similar to the things you see in the backpack where people are walking around?
Yes, exactly. Yes, they're the same thing. All right. It doesn't want to cooperate. Let's do it on there.
Yeah, they have a backpack, or now they have them like an exoskeleton where they kind of like wear it, it's hard, so it doesn't, it's not floppy, it's actually sturdy and they can
It was
walk.
recording and it just didn't do it on the screen in real time, so let's do that again. Just change this one.
Do you need a-
No, it's fine. Let's try it. Change the settings. All right, there we go. So, as I pick it up and move it, in real time, you can see what you're seeing. Everybody seems perfectly still. Right? But as I walk, so you're normally carrying your tablet with you, right? So you can constantly be recommending what you're supposed to be doing with the scanner. Of course, I go too far away from this, it's going to delay. Normally, you don't use an iPad for this, you use your phone just because it's smaller, right? But as you're walking, you're grabbing all of the data you could possibly need, right? So just that quick, like Chris was saying, you see the ceiling? I can see all the lights, everything up there instantly, right? You know, you're getting every kind of piece of data you could possibly think of. So let's look at what these data sets look like when you're done with them. I scanned this room before everybody got here. With the little guy here. And then we'll show off some photos. This with the little guy here. All right, so you can see the entire room. And I can jump into each individual space so you can see the photos it took.
So see, they take a photo and then they drape these points over they line the points up on the photo and.
So cash prize, $5 to the child who can tell me how wide this room is from that wall to that wall.
There you go, there's a challenge.
For children, for child,
Only be a kid at heart.
only for children?
Go up the chain, Margaret.
That's what I'm making him do next.
Pace it.
Okay. You don't have to be embarrassed, it's okay, it's just me.
I have a guess.
Okay, what's your guess?
44.
44 feet, all right. So I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna measure. Let's say from there, gonna move across this side of the room to there. And I have 44.5 feet, basically.
I've been doing this a while.
But you never mess with surveyors and I'm just judging this. So, but like they were saying, you know, you can get everything in this room. So, like I know where the sprinkler heads are. I can see where the disco ball is for. Like Marcos mentioned, kind of our emerging market at this point, because the scanners have gotten so fast, is the public safety side, right? So the Texas Rangers own 16 of those, right? They have them deployed all over the state. Dallas PD owns 2 of them, Fort Worth PD owns 4 of them. My basic goal in life at this point is to not be able to get a speeding ticket anywhere in the state of Texas, right? So I deal with all the police departments, right? The other thing they're using these for, when I say they have 4 of them, they use them in different entities, right? So they have one in their traffic division, right? So if you have a traffic fatality, there's a crash, they always scan it because they need to preserve that scene, right? And it allows them to open that scene back up more quickly, right? So rather than going out and having to, say, survey it conventionally or get the measuring tape out, they can go out and scan it, and it goes way outside of the bounds of surveying. But, so like, if you've ever been to Dealey Plaza, you know, downtown, here's Dealey Plaza. So this is the shot with the big guy. But you can see that this is the amount of data you get. This is where the box is, where Oswald was sitting, right? But we cleaned this up, cleaned the traffic out. There was traffic that day, but I cleaned it all out. But you can see literally every little thing.
Do you have the X on the street?
I do. So if you go on the X's in the street, it's a little morbid, right? But here's the one that they keep removing. You can see where they grinded it out, right? And then people keep putting it back. The other X is down here, right? What's really crazy is if you come above it, hover, and go to perspective view from here. When I look up, there's the perch right there, so I can see exactly where his vantage point was. I can also turn to see the grassy knoll. There's the big fence. So if you're a conspiracy theorist, yeah, here you are. We've got other stuff, right? So, anybody ever been to Kalahari down in Round Rock? It's the water park. Okay, we scanned that. They've got a African safari-based theme park, but they have a really cool entry drive. As you drive in, they've got like rhinoceros statues, right? We can fly through this real quick, hang on. We got ant mounds.
Those are all points, remember, those
Every
are,
one of these are individual points, but
those
it
are
looks
all
like they're
points.
actually there, right? So there's some zebras there. And of course, you can fly up. Every one of these red orbs you're seeing is where I set the scanner up. And of course, then they have the statues of the elephants are right in here. So everybody asked me how I got the elephants to stand still the whole time, but just statues. But, you know, I mean, this is all cool and all, but let's see what, like, something that somebody actually really does use this for. So, like, give me 1 second. This is a tank farm out in Abilene, right? Gas collection facility. These guys need to know what kind of equipment they have on scene, right, and where everything is. We have the bolt patterns on their valves. Or we know everything there is going on in this scene. We can also tag in equipment, so we can actually come in here, and you'll notice there's a picture associated with this tag. It's a serial plate on a motor. We can actually come in and do this, and have me tag every piece of equipment. Right? So it becomes one of those things of, with the handheld. So here's the creek, right? So you can see it's just crazy gnarly environment. Right? There's just trees everywhere.
welcome to surveying.
That's an expensive survey, by the way.
No, and I'll tell you, this was not an expensive survey, so check this out.
If I were to doing it on the ground, it'd be a really expensive survey.
It's continuing to be an expensive survey, but it's paid for the instrument several times over, and I'll show you why. So we do have this, we do kind of have the creek bottom, and we do kind of have natural ground, but look at all the trees, right? So you would still normally have to clean this point cloud, get all the trees out of it. However, we have this AI tool called classification that will go in and it reads your point cloud and it will say, this is a car, this is a building, this is a human, this is whatever, right? Now, it's not perfect, because AI is not perfect yet, but it's getting there. So what I can do is I can actually go into this and tell it, I've already removed it, but I'm gonna tell it, okay, I want all the trees gone. There's my natural ground. Right? There's a person standing there, but I didn't turn the person layer off, right? But I now have my natural ground. I can take this out and bring it into a Civil 3D or something like that, right? And then I can run a topographic map on it, okay? We did that. If I can get my Civil 3D to open today. Sometimes it's persnickety. And I did something completely ridiculous in the Civil 3D drawing, by the way. I did a 1-foot grid with topography on it.
And Civil 3D is a drafting software,
Yes.
for those of you who don't know. It's
So-
how surveyors and engineers draw lines and circles.
So
How
a
plans get made.
1-foot grid is unheard of. You would never do a 1-foot grid, but I can do it, so why not, right? So anyway, this is that same I don't know why it's not playing. Hang on. There it goes. Now it's working. So. Anyway, so there is my contours, right? So if I take this and I flip it up and do a 3D, there's my surface. Of my entire creek. Okay? Now, when we talked about expensive survey, yes, this was an expensive survey. They charged the client a full week of time to do this. When I went out on the field, we spent probably 2 hours in the field getting GPS collection of some control points so we could put it on a regular state plane coordinate system, scanned it in about an hour, took it back to the office, processed it in about 2 hours, ran the AI tool, which took about 4 hours, then ran it through Civil 3D. So about 9.5 hours later, we had a finished topo. Again, they charged their customers 40 hours. We did it in 9. They've gone out, because it's a monitoring project, they've gone out 4 more times since then. And guess how much they charge them every single time? Another 40 hours.
The clients or engineer, something like that, that says, I need you to go out and collect data on a certain piece of land or something like that. And the surveyor's job is to go out, collect everything that the engineer needs, and sometimes stuff that the engineer doesn't know he needs, right? So we have to get as much as we can in order for them to do their job. And sometimes it involves, going out scanning like this. Sometimes it involves going out with GPS and shooting stuff in manually. We might measure by tape. But at the end of the day, our job is to provide them with a